Here's your winner and the
Might be my arrogance, but ain't nobody stopping me. That's how I go when you pay for them shows and you study that pimp biology.
Yeah, it's Saturday, June 12th, 2021. And today is the first episode ever of the MushPuff Club. This is the one show where you're going to be able to get all your wrestling fix and not be ashamed over the fact if you're a completely wrestling noob. Because we have someone in the community who wants to learn. And as educators, it is our responsibility to make sure that our Queen MushPuff has all of the wrestling knowledge that she has to have to transverse all the crazy waters that the wrestling world constantly sends down the rapids. Joining me, as always, for her first ever co-hosting job right here on Dead on Dave Live, the one, the only, the very blue lactating, Nixy to the Nax. What's up there, Nixy?
Hi, I'm so super psyched to be here for my first ever official.
Oh, it's so loud.
Oh my god.
Oh
my
God.
Oh no.
Why are you so loud? Holy
I don't know.
Oh, these new headphones are fucked up. Oh my God. Let's get you down to 100%. Speak for me.
Hi.
Why weren't you that bad in rehearsal?
I don't know.
Oh my God.
Your face on screen has just heard my voice.
They're gone.
I am the power of God. I speak with the voice of God. If you hear me, I shall blow your ear holes.
I will blow you away. Well, that's not the way I wanted to be blown by you, but hey, we'll take what we can get. So, we are here for a very specific reason. We have resurrected the wrestling world right here on Dead on Dave Live because Nixy wants to know. Nixy wants to see what drives us all to it, what keeps us, even the ones who hate wrestling. And there's a lot of us out there who have come to hate wrestling, especially the current product. But sometimes the best way to connect with something that you may not have the exact type of passion and love that you once had for is to go ahead and pass that knowledge on to someone who's willing to learn. And I'm very excited about it. We already started last week, Nixy. Now, have you watched anything on your own in the past week? Have you started going into the wrestling world? And if you have, what have you noticed this week that may have stood out to you?
I've watched a little bit of. We went backstage after the show last week, and we started watching clips and stuff. And a couple of people came into the chat, and they were like, "Oh, have you shown her this one? Have you shown her that one?" And I think that's probably where the idea for, like, you know what? Why don't you guys come tell me what you want me to see?
Exactly.
Was born. Because I have no idea where to start. The only stuff that I remember is the stuff from like the age of The Rock and Batista. That's pretty much it.
Which,
That's
while
my knowledge.
It's great. I mean, that's a good era. We're talking late 90s, early 2000s, mostly early 2000s. You're talking into the Batista years, but which is fine. You're talking more out of the attitude and into the ruthless aggression era, which is totally fine. So that's probably a good place to start. The eras. There's different eras in wrestling, and they're going back. I mean, right now, I don't even know what this. I would call this the meta era, is what I would call that we're in now, where wrestling is being ruled by meta references and inside jokes and pulling back the curtain. It's something that is new to wrestling, to be completely honest. We've never done this in professional wrestling, not on regular television, not on national television, certainly not on fucking cable. This is new. What's happening is a new form of wrestling, and it's probably why I'm having so much problems with it. For me, and maybe this is a good place to give you a little bit of my reference point as to how I feel about wrestling. Wrestling to me was always about suspending disbelief, not suspending belief. There's a difference between the two things. You see, when you're suspending belief, you know what you're seeing is impossible. Impossible.
Yeah.
But you can suspend that for a moment and just be in the moment. Even if it is disbelieving, it doesn't matter. But when you're suspending your disbelief, it's because you know that it's 100% fraudulent, but you're going to treat it with a wink and a smile, and so are they. It's a nice way of melding entertainment from different eras. And it's something that was originally around with circus times, where wrestling was born, which I've told you that before.
Yep, we went into that last week.
Yeah, and a lot of the terminology and everything came from it, but so does a lot of the essence of what wrestling is, the spirit of it. Why kayfabe, the element of story, which is known as kayfabe, in wrestling. And now, people like to say for a very long time, we got through all the different eras in the 50s, which is just, there's really nothing special about it. Those are just kind of the Wahoo McDaniels eras, the Bruno Sammartino, the Don Morocco. These are names that you should know, but not necessarily you have to go back and go start there to get into everything. I definitely want to show you some of those moments. Like, I want you to know who Freddie Blassie was. I want you to know who the Fabulous Moolah was, Mae Young. I want you to know them not just from their WWE days, but from the stuff that they did. Sherry Martel, all of these people that were the foundation of wrestling. And we can go even deeper into all of the southern roots of it as well. But that's for a different day. We don't need to go that route. Those are just the eras that we can touch on. But it's when you get into the rock and wrestling era in the 80s, that's when entertainment took over. It went away from the fairgrounds, where it was still a circus environment, and it was a little bit more violent and visceral, to more entertaining. We're in the casinos. Trump's involved. WrestleMania. Cyndi Lauper's here. Fucking Lou Albano. He's now crossing over. He's playing Mario. What the fucking ass on the Mario show? Like, there was crossover. And people always like to say that the 90s and even now there's so much more mainstream wrestling stuff. That's fucking horse shit. People forget. They got a short-term fucking memory. In the 80s, wrestlers were fucking breaking into the mainstream left and right. From the mid-80s right into the goddamn 90s. We had Hulk Hogan and mega movies. Rocky franchise, Rocky 3, right in the middle of that mega $1 million fucking foundation of a franchise. There's Thunder Lips. Here's something that you might find interesting, Miss Nixie. And I will get into actually some things about you about this in a moment. But Hulk Hogan, that role as Thunder Lips in Rocky 3 caused a major fucking uproar with WWF. Major.
Really?
Major issues. In fact, Hogan was becoming bigger than wrestling, and everybody could see it. And Vince, while he was happy about it, on one regard, he knew he was going to lose him. He knew he was going to lose him early. There was a lot of, he missed time. There was, I'm trying to remember the exact specifics of it. I'm hoping somebody in the chat would be able to get all of them. We can even look it up too. But he was supposed to be one place, but he had to be in for the movie, and he decided to choose the movie. And that was the big deal. He chose the movie over wrestling, and that was the major deal. Because at that time, Hulk Hogan was it. He was really starting to emerge. Right in the mid-'80s, really starting to emerge. Yeah.
Do you know what I remember? Do you know what I remember him in?
What's that?
Do you know what I remember him?
Please say Mr. Nanny.
Yeah! Mr. Nanny. Yeah.
Don't have to be rude. Don't have to be crude. All you really gotta have is attitude. Hell yeah, motherfucking Mr. Yeah, Mr. Nanny.
Yeah. With him putting his pinky up. That was like when she was like, hey, pinky! And then he sticks his pinky up when he's drinking the tea at the tea party. And I'm like, God damn, that's Hulk Hogan.
That's Hulk Hogan. There was a lot of wrestlers in that. I mean, Vince, I'm just going to stop saying WWF. Vince acquiesced so hard to Hulk Hogan that they made a movie called No Holds Barred, which is arguably one of the best pure wrestling movies ever made. I don't know if you've seen it. This was kind of the movie that really, and maybe we should watch it tonight. It crossed kayfabe and entertainment and wrestling into this weird thing. So, all right, here's the movie. All right, let me pitch you the movie. Picture this, Nixie. You got the biggest professional wrestler in the world, and I think his name was Rip something in the movie because his catchphrase was "Rip 'em, brother." Let me tell you something, dude. Listen up, Jack. Let me tell you something, brah. So he gets approached by this sleazeball of a exec, like a TV exec, and he wants to start this like tough man competition type shit. And he's starting all this beating, like barroom brawling type shit, like real fighting, but very edgy. And it was crazy. There was this guy that they found by the name of Zeus, who was actually Tiny Liston, the guy who played Debo in the Friday franchise. He was the president, a black president, long before Morgan fucking Freeman, Fifth Element. Rip Thomas, thank you, Rip Thomas.
Rip Thomas.
Which that's a terrible wrestling name, Rip Thomas. That's a terrible name. Terrible. And it's just a ridiculous movie. Who's the chick in that movie? It's not Terry Hatcher, but she's fucking gorgeous like Terry Hatcher. I forgot who it was. Who's the chick in that movie? She's beautiful. What's up, Terry? Good to see you. KC, everybody. I hope you're having a good time. We're teaching Nixie the ropes. We're going to run some ropes here. And right now we're just kind of having a little bit of fun with the merging of wrestling, kayfabe, entertainment. I'm taking her through the decade that kind of changed everything, with that being the 80s. You stop with Suburban Commando. We're not talking about fucking Suburban Commando. So this movie, he ends up, Zeus wants to fight Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan doesn't want to fight Zeus. So Zeus hurts someone who's close to Hulk Hogan. So Hulk Hogan agrees to the fight. And it turns in, it's just like the craziest fucking thing. It's hard to even explain now that I think about it. It is actually kind of difficult to explain. But I think we should watch it because it's fantastic. But that movie, really, like, that changed everything. Because it kind of gave wrestlers the green light. And we started seeing, I think They Live was even before that. I mean, and I wanted to talk about Roddy Piper even before Hogan. Because Piper was fucking mainstream. All these guys there were so many wrestlers who were doing roles in movies. They were doing television. There was just a lot of things that were happening at the time. Music especially. Music was ridiculous. A lot of wrestlers were in the Girls Want to Have Fun video with Cyndi Lauper.
Really?
Captain Lou Albano played her father.
So, wait. Was Cyndi Lauper an actual female wrestler? Or
she was not a wrestler, but she did appear at many wrestling events. She famously breaks a gold record over whose head? Was it Piper's head? It's Piper's head, right?
Oh.
There's so many great things that happen from the rock. Her and Wendy Richter. Wendy Richter was like the face of rock and wrestling with Cyndi Lauper and a lot of the other wrestlers. There's so many different things that they did at the time, and it worked. It really did. It brought everybody to the forefront. People were getting involved. People were excited about wrestling. And then it fucking died. Hulk Hogan kind of retired at a young age, but he didn't really. He just decided to use it as leverage and go over to WCW. And that's when wrestling started pushing again. For about 3 years, 92 to 95, wrestling hit a dead zone again. Nothing was happening. It was awful. It was a terrible time. There was a lot of talent, but it sound familiar, people? A lot of talent, but everybody just seemed to be used incorrectly. We were getting very stupid gimmicks. We were getting things like the Repo Man. We were getting the Gobbledygooker. We were getting all this stupid shit.
The Gobbledygooker.
Yes.
What a name.
Gobbledygooker.
I've got my lip ringing. That's why I can't say
the Goon. We had the Goon, a hockey player. It was just like so much stupid shit. T.L. Skinner, T.R. Hopper. This is fucking stupid shit. And it wasn't just in WWE. It was all over. Wrestling was hitting a stagnant point, and it needed to change. So some wrestling executives who were getting some first-time real exposure to the industry, i.e. Eric Bischoff over at WCW, young executive without a lot of wrestling background, comes in, basically doesn't buy the company, but he's running the company. Ted Turner over there at Time Warner and fucking TNT, TBS, just gives Eric Bischoff a blank check to compete with Vince because that's what Ted Turner wanted to do. He wanted to compete with fucking Vince McMahon because he didn't understand how his fucking multi-billion-dollar media empire doesn't have a wrestling program, and Monday Night Raw has been on for a few years now, and it's killing, and Vince is making billions and fucking killing, crushing, and Ted has got to eat dog shit. He's got to eat all the dog shit. So he decides to go fucking compete, and he puts a blank check out there. What this allowed Eric Bischoff to do is buy all the talent that he needed, but he went and he looked to the East for all the inspiration. Eric Bischoff was famously known for watching anything Japanese wrestling, man. He was getting inspired by everything that was happening over there. Some people would say he ripped off New Japan and the other organizations over there. I drew a blank for a moment. But I see it as inspiration. And what that did was bring wrestling into an even bigger boom. Because now we had a real war. Are these terms starting to sound familiar to you? Like things that people are trying to say that are happening now? Like the underutilization of talent and people being utilized poorly and the wars of wrestling? It's they're trying to get it back to what it was, but it's not working. People are tuning out. That's what we're seeing now, Nixie, and that's a scary thing. So and that is we're seeing the things turn again. You know, we had the thing in the 90s. Now we thought we were entering a wrestling boom with these companies that were coming up and all this stuff, but here's what we're seeing. All the ratings are going down. Across the board, numbers going down.
I've seen a lot of people complaining and saying that it hasn't been very good and it's not, it's too gimmicky, it's just too stupid, and it's not captivating people anymore.
I don't know what I honestly, it's weird because I have no problem with NXT. Not a single solitary problem. And that's modern wrestling. And these are all guys that are independent that came over to WWE. None of them, very, very few of them, I should say, that are currently on the roster are homegrown, only trained by WWE talent. Most of them have established themselves elsewhere, all over the world, and came over to NXT, and they rock. They kick ass. They're amazing. And they're utilized well, but it's smaller. It's not on the same scale as a Raw or SmackDown. And we got to remember, each show has a different purpose. Raw and SmackDown really are only there for the commercials.
Really?
Yeah, basically. WWE got two almost $500 million deals. They got $500 million from USA, and they got like $360 from NBC. It's the same fucking company, by the way, because NBC owns fucking USA. Like, none of it. Like, how is this? There's cahoots. They've always been together, too. Dick Ebersol and fucking Vince McMahon are like this, son. It's fucking crazy. And and by the way, all the sales stuff, don't ever fucking believe it, because the only people who were ever owned the WWE outside of a McMahon is NBC. And that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So I can't tell you why wrestling isn't working. I know why it doesn't work for me, but I don't know why it's not working for a lot of people.
Well, why doesn't it work for you? Let's get a bit personal. Tell me what's wrong with wrestling right now for you.
Very easy. Now, WWE's problem. Now, each organization has a different problem. Wrestling as a whole has a problem with the meta. This whole fixation on everything being a wink and a smile. Unfortunately, I kind of have to blame Rick and Morty a little bit for this, because it almost feels like this fourth wall break is really just brought on by what they've done. And I hate to put the blame on Justin Roiland, but Jesus fucking Christ. Now everything is meta, and nothing matters. That's even worse. How can it be meta and nihilistic? How is that possible?
Yeah, they can't coincide.
But it is. Impossible. But it is. They're like, hey, let's do something that exposes the industry, but it doesn't matter. What? Of course it matters. And the ratings are showing that. WWE's biggest problem right now, to me, is I don't want to just say Vince. I think it's Kevin Dunn, personally. Kevin Dunn, to me, seems to be a bigger problem than Vince. Now, people can counter with that. Well, Vince allows him in his ear, and that's fair. However, Kevin Dunn probably has a little bit more sway than we realize, and he's just fucking an idiot. He's just an absolute moron. And I hate Bucky. I fucking hate Bucky. I can't help it. Well, probably one of the only things I agree with Jim Cornette on is how much I hate Bucky. But I'll fill you in on some of those jokes at some point. Don't worry. Like Bucky.
I was gonna say like a Bucky. I thought you were talking of like Avengers.
No,
so.
Jim Cornette.
I was like, when did we switch? When did we switch?
We're gonna get into all that stuff. Don't worry. But it's a focus on the kids only. It feels like, you know, because they know that what is WWE actually doing wrong is the question, because their profits are the best they've ever been. You know, they're making more money than ever while having to do less touring. You know, it's like everything's crazy. It seems upside down. The people who are getting the worst reputation are the ones who are doing the best. The ratings aren't good, but the finances keep going up. Figure that shit out. I couldn't tell you. But we also live in a world where GameStop is a fucking valuable commodity. So I don't understand.
Yeah. Merch
drives the industry. You know, what you can sell is always the most important thing. They still kick ass on pay-per-views. But they is for as bad as WWE is, and probably their biggest transgression is they just simply don't fucking care about Raw, their flagship show. It's 3 hours of dreck. Wrestling, too much might be another big problem with wrestling in general, too. There's just too much wrestling. There's wrestling every day, night of the week now.
Yeah, because I was going to say, like, this does seem to be so much.
No, literally.
Because
there's wrestling every night of the week. We got Raw on Monday. You got fucking NXT Tuesday. You got AW typically on Wednesdays. I think Impact is Thursdays. Ring of Honor typically shows on Fridays, if I recall. And right now AEW's on Fridays. There's literally wrestling every day of the fucking week. It's too much. It's just too much.
So I'd say too much of a good thing, but if people aren't happy, it's not even too much of a good thing. It's just shoveling more shit.
Right, exactly. But so for all the things that WWE does wrong, they also have the best thing, hands down, the best thing in wrestling. Roman Reigns. And it's not even close. Roman Reigns, what he's doing right now, may be the best work. Don't fucking even don't at me on this, motherfuckers. What Roman Reigns is doing right now may be like top 3 all-time wrestling work ever.
So I need to know, what is it that he's doing? What has he done that's so... Is it the storyline that he's playing? Is it the character he's built?
We could do a whole show on Roman Reigns. So...
Well, part of what I want to know is I want to know, like, the up-to-date storylines. Like, what storylines are good and which ones are shit.
Well, how much do you know about Roman Reigns in general?
So I think what I gathered so far is that he came in and he was a good character, and now he's classed as a heel.
Mm-hmm. That's it? That's all you know?
I watched that one with you, sort of.
Right.
The one where I was in the chat till 4 o'clock in the morning, but I actually had no idea what was fucking going on. And I know it had something to do with him being the head of his...
The head of the table.
Head of the table, which is that head of his family, or is that the head of like
it's
the
a Samoan
group that he's
thing.
part of?
I'm gonna explain this to you real good, because there's a lot of things happening with that storyline. A lot of it's built from just everything that's happened with Roman. By the way, guys, get in the waiting call if you want to weigh in on any of this. This is an open forum. We want to hear from you. Nixie desperately wants
really do.
You guys don't want me to be the only voice that's in her fucking ear about wrestling. Get in here and give her some other ideas. We should also invite Dead and Hold on as well. We really should, because I think
we should. I will get on that.
Next time that you're watching him when you should be doing stuff with me, just bring it up. Okay? Anyways.
Right.
Bitch.
God damn.
So Roman Reigns is a WWE homegrown product. You see, he's of the Anoa'i family, which is one of the big families in wrestling. It's the Rock's family. It's the Usos. It's Rikishi. It's a Samoan dynasty. The Head Shrinkers. I mean, like, everybody who's Samoan, and even people you wouldn't even expect, like Yokozuna, These are all people who are part of that historic family, this historic bloodline. Roman was a blue chipper, very similar to The Rock. He's also one of the most gorgeous creatures walking the planet. So when he burst onto the scene in NXT, it didn't take a long time for people to realize what was going to happen with this guy. At that same time, there were a couple other really talented kids that had been around the independents that have recently came into NXT. One by the name of Jon Moxley, who would go on to be Dean Ambrose, and now Jon Moxley again. And the other is Seth freaking Rollins. Now, those two were tabbed with another guy to form something called The Shield, which was going to be the big group in NXT. The first guy was the original third member was supposed to be Cassius Ohno, who was an incredibly talented guy, but he's fucking fat and would not get in fucking shape. And because, no, I'm dead serious. And because this fucker chose to not get in shape, they axed his ass from the group. Roman's in.
Wow.
Turns out to be one of the biggest moves ever. The Shield comes right in to WWE and fucking destroys. They get right into storylines with CM Punk. They debuted in a CM Punk match with Ryback at Hell in a Cell. They just explode on. And right away, everyone knows these guys are it. They're going to be something. And everyone starts categorizing and pegging these guys in certain roles. Dean Ambrose was 100% going to be that lunatic heel that was going to just be mischievous and he was going to just wreck the wrestling world for the next 15 years. Seth Rollins had babyface superstar written all over him. This guy was going to be at the heights of Shawn Michaels' babyfaceness. He was going to be Ricky Dragon Steamboat babyfaceness. He was everything. Can't miss. One of the most athletic and physically gifted people you will ever see inside of a wrestling ring. And then you had Roman Reigns, who is definitely going to be the tweener. A tweener is someone who is North face or heel. They walk, but they're a day walker. They walk between both realms. Stone Cold and The Rock are great examples of that. Guys who would get cheers for doing horrible things because they're funny and cool and had a look or whatever the case may be. Yeah. And that's what
I didn't know that about The Rock, though.
Yeah, absolutely. So The Rock, Rock and Roman are kind of similar in a few different ways. Rock was hated when he first came on. I mean, they were chanting "Die, Rocky, die" at him.
Oh my god!
He debuted as this flamboyant, colorful fuck named Rocky Maivia, and it just didn't work. Incredible, and he had like the most fucking outlandish shit on and stuff. So at least they didn't do that with Roman. Roman just came out in black gear, fucking with a vest on and shit. And that's what the Shield were. They were vigilante. They were the hounds of justice. And they were feuding with everybody. But something started happening. The focus on Seth and the focus on Dean started to go by the wayside. And all the reactions started to be about Roman Reigns. Mainly because women were getting really big in WWE crowds. And if you go back to my days, I would go out of my way to find the moments where, as I like to call them, women gushing cum over Roman Reigns. And it was happening every week. I mean, bitches were losing their fucking minds over this guy. They would walk through the crowd. The Shield would come in through the crowd. Roman Reigns was getting fucking sexually assaulted. I'm telling you, Nick, you got to go back and watch this. It was incredible. Like, people were like, there was one, who remembers the chick who, like, runs her hand over his entire chest, and as she pulls her hands away, she almost screams with excitement. It's fucked up. It's so fucked up. And WWE, Vince, they took notice. And it started becoming the Roman Reigns show. Then they break up the Shield. And they start pushing Roman so hard. And they start feeding him these lines. And they're scripting everything. And he's saying sucker and succotash. And he's main eventing WrestleManias. He's getting booed. He's winning Royal Rumbles. And he's getting booed. He's doing good guy shit. And he's getting booed. Because he's flubbing lines. His wrestling simply never improved. He looked like he hit a wall physically. Now, some of that can be explained by his what we didn't know was leukemia. He had leukemia back from when he was in fucking college.
Holy fuck.
Yeah. It kind of cost him his football career. You know, it made him transition and go a different route, and it broke down his body. And Roman would fight this again a few years ago. He had to retire from wrestling a few years ago because he had another leukemia battle, and he beat it once again, came back better than ever. But I digress.
Jesus.
That's how hated Roman Reigns was. They were feeding him everything. The Undertaker. The end of The Undertaker's career. Well, it turned out to not be, because I called that shit. They gave it to Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. They started teasing that shit and doing all that constantly. And then fucking they threw a curveball with Seth Rollins breaking up the Shield. Dean Ambrose becoming this big star that they would just not let the reins off, lack of a better term. It was just insane. There's the video, by the way, Nixie. If you want to see a chick gush and come, I think Fake just found it.
I will watch it.
Oh, yes.
After.
So Roman was just, it wasn't working. Everybody, including me, figured the crowd would eventually just stop with the booing, but they weren't, Nixie. This guy had to get fucking leukemia again. Some people think leukemia is a work just to get him over. And he comes back from leukemia, and he's getting cheered for a while. And then you could tell the reactions were starting, not full booing, but the reactions were starting to go the other way again. They were not as strong. People weren't giving us fuck. And mainly, and it's not that Roman was necessarily doing anything bad. He hadn't been champion in like 2 years. He's just, I don't know. He was feuding with so many people, and he was always looking strong, but he was losing at times too. It was just a weird time, and it seemed like they were honing in on what to do with him, but it just wasn't clicking, you know?
Yeah.
And then, out of fucking nowhere, seemingly, Roman leaves, and he comes back, and his jawline's different. Like, he got new teeth. He had veneers put in, and it restructured his jaw. He came back looking like a different guy. He looked meaner. He looked, I don't even know what the, he looked different. And he came back with Paul Heyman. I don't know. How much do you know about Paul Heyman?
Nothing.
Fuck.
I'm about to Google his face.
Fuck.
So.
Paul Heyman. Let me give you the quick rundown on Paul. Paul Heyman, also known as Paulie Dangerously, the Paulrus, and so many other things, is kind of the Ross Perot of wrestling. He was the independent. He was the man who was never going to be...
Oh, that dude.
Yeah,
right,
ECW. ECW.
Mm-hmm.
But before ECW, the Dangerous Alliance and WCW and all the things that he did there, he was all... Yeah, the pandemic. Thank you, Fake. The pandemic. That was the big reason, because of leukemia. And they didn't want him getting sick and all that stuff. That's right. But it was still kind of on the low. And there were some other things that people were rumoring about at the time. I remember a whole bunch of stuff that was happening with that. But I digress. So Paul cuts arguably the greatest promo in wrestling. He can speak. He could talk for days. This man has got the gift of gab, and he knows how to sell. He's been Brock Lesnar's advocate. Now, you know who Brock Lesnar is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is that a real mm-hmm?
I just looked at his face and I said, yep, I've seen him before.
Okay, you do know who Brock Lesnar is. Okay, good. So Brock has always had Paul Heyman as a mouthpiece, essentially.
Yeah.
And it didn't look like Paul was ever going to work with anybody else, because it didn't really seem to work. They put him with Cesaro. They put him with Curtis Axel. It just didn't work. But out of nowhere, he appears with Roman Reigns. And the writing that they did, because all the storyline that Roman had already had with Paul and Brock, they started writing in. And Paul started using that as the reason why he's aligning with Roman. But he made it very clear that this was not the same relationship that he has with Brock Lesnar, where he is the advocate, the speaker of, the man who makes the moves for Roman Reigns. Oh, no. He is simply there to be a special advisor to the new tribal chief of not only his own family, the Anoa'i family, but all of WWE. And Roman started getting mean. And Roman started talking to people while he was beating them up. Started telling them why he was better than him. He had members, fathers of other people's, like the Usos' father and uncle of The Rock and shit. And like all kinds of people who are associated with the basically the patriarchs of the Anoa'i family came out on fucking TV and put a ceremonial lei around this motherfucker. They have built this so perfectly. He's just different. And the thing that I think that makes it so amazing is no one saw it coming. Like, everyone knew that Roman could draw, and most people thought he'd be a good bad guy, but not by speaking, just by simply walking in and punching people and walking away. But now he's cutting some of the most captivating promo work in all of wrestling.
Considering that he was getting booed for fudging shit up before, and then now he's more into his character, I guess.
Well, everything is tailored back to his wrestling style now. There's no holes anymore because we're not expecting more things from him. He's not doing anything all that different than what he was doing. He's just doing it more aggressively. He added in the guillotine as a finisher. He's choking motherfuckers out now, and it looks vicious. He's beating people up.
I saw that fake.
Yeah,
I saw that.
The fake crying. That was amazing.
Yeah.
That was amazing. He's just doing stuff that is on another level, and he's doing it at a time where this work isn't happening. There's no one in wrestling. There's no one who can name me another program that is anywhere on the level of this. I would say within the last 5 years. Maybe longer.
Really?
Yeah, what we're seeing is really special. It's really, really something special. It's that good. And guess what? It's just beginning. Mm-hmm. This Roman Reigns storyline, if done right, should last the next 3 to 5 years. Exactly the way it is. They got The Rock. They got so many people that can be involved with this. When Roman Reigns and The Rock fight at WrestleMania for supremacy of the Anoa'i family, it'll happen in the next 2 years. It's over. It's fucking over. That will be the biggest match in the history of wrestling. And you know what's great about that is they tried to do something with The Rock a few years back. Roman was so hated that they were like, we got to get The Rock to put him over if we're going to try to give him another Royal Rumble victory. So they decide to do that. The Rock comes out and helps Roman win, and they both get booed out the fucking building. And no one can believe The Rock is getting booed at this point. It was insane. It was, and then they just acted like it didn't happen. Like they never followed up on it. There was no follow.
It was a dream.
It was like shit. It was crazy. So now when they get The Rock involved, it's gonna be something else. It's really gonna be something cool. So that's what Roman's doing now. He's hearkening back to old school stuff. They really are. And I don't think it's WWE. I think they are letting him go. So something you're going to hear a lot is scripted and unscripted. WWE likes to script a lot of their promos. They have writers that write for the wrestlers exactly what they want them to say. Very little ad-libbing allowed. In the 90s, very little scripting, a lot of ad-libbing. Now, people want to scream and shout about, they need to do that now. Well, the problem, and this is the thing I've always said, and the thing that I will continue to say, because I have not seen any evidence that it has changed, they don't have people today like they had back then. Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, Hulk Hogan, Chris Jericho, when Chris Jericho really was Chris fucking Jericho, fucking Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, Stone Cold, The Rock, Kurt Angle, Undertaker, fucking Sting, Lex Luger. They were everywhere. I'm not even going to Japan, but we could go to Japan. These guys were everywhere. They could talk, they could work, they could do everything. And they had that factor. the it factor, the thing that you can never explain that just drew you in. We don't have it. Roman is the one guy, and there's no one else.
He's the only name right now that I could say that I know about Roman Reigns, and I don't know a lot about wrestling. Like Hulk Hogan was the one back in the early 90s, and then The Rock was the 2000s. Like you could say, I don't know anything about wrestling, but I know who The Rock is.
Right.
I don't know about wrestling, but I know who Hulk Hogan is. I know who, now I'm like, okay, I don't know anything about wrestling, but I could tell you who Roman Reigns is.
Right.
Sort of.
And we haven't had a guy like that the last few years. Roman's been transitioning, but before him, the last 15s belonged to John Cena. So
yeah, he's not exactly famous for coming out with the smartest of comments either.
Well, now because he's sucking the Chinese cock, but you got to understand something about John Cena. He is for all the booze and stuff, and that's why I never really cared about the booze with Roman. I don't give a fuck what. See, here's the thing: wrestling fans are stupid, like fucking stupid, Nixie, like stupid. It makes no sense, the stuff that wrestling fans will complain about. That's why I try to do it a little differently. I'm a little more pragmatic about it. I just don't understand what some fans want out of wrestling. I just, nothing ever pleases anyone, and so you just got to not even care. You just got to not even give a fuck. Like, completely.
It's enjoy the ride for what it is, or... you're not going to get an Avengers worth movie out of watching wrestling. But that's what people expect now.
Well, kids don't complain. Kids don't question. We question, and then we go away. We're finicky. We might have deeper wallets, but we also watch fucking basketball, football, hockey, wrestling, boxing, everything else. Our attention can be taken away very easily. Kids, that's like cigarettes, man. You hook them, and they're fucking watching wrestling. And they're going to be very loyal to that. And that's what WWE has really stayed on.
You have Falan in the waiting to call. Would you like me to bring him in?
In a moment. Did we finish where we were? What were we talking about?
We were talking about Roman Reigns being the first one that, you said about the storyline's going to last about 3 to 5 years, you reckon?
If done right.
If done right. And you reckon that if they bring The Rock in, it'll be in the next 2 years?
Yeah, because Rock's getting old. They don't have a lot more time left for that. It's that's the guy right now. I don't know what your plan is. I don't know if you're planning on watching all the shows. Like I don't know if that's what you want to do. Are you watching AEW? Are you watching TNA? Are you watching Ring of Honor? Are you watching New Japan? Do any of these names ring a bell to you?
I don't think I have time to watch all of them. I will probably follow the main story in which is NXT, isn't it? The one, is it NXT? Or
NXT's tomorrow. NXT is part of WWE. That's the developmental. Is that who you were talking about?
Which one is Roman Reigns in?
He's on SmackDown. He's WWE.
Oh, he's SmackDown.
Yeah, he's SmackDown.
I don't know why. I thought he was NXT.
No, he used to be in NXT. It's where he started.
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to look through the rosters, and the ones where I actually know the names, like some of the names at least, that's where I'm going to put my main focus on, because I already know tiny bits.
So you don't have interest in watching shows. So you don't have necessary interest in sitting down and watching shows. You're going to catch the pay-per-views, and then you're just going to kind of bounce around and watch the people that you gravitate towards. Is that pretty much it?
Pretty much. Or, I want to get into the storylines. Because I like good stories, and even if the
you just
story
gotta start
isn't
watching.
necessarily fantastic, but
that's the thing. You just got to start watching. Yeah. So, do you want to do? Well, see, you got to stay up late, even later. Well, you're up late anyway.
I'm late. I'm a Nighthawk.
All right. So you tell. Here's how I want this to go, because we haven't really talked about wrestling at all this week up until this show. So, what's up, Red Comet Man? I see you, baby. Show. We're gonna get to Falan in just a moment. Next thing you want to watch, I mean, obviously we're doing NXT tomorrow. We're going to do, are you doing a live reaction with me? You going to watch it?
Yeah.
Should be very good, man. Adam Cole and Karrion Kross, that's the main event, right? Or is there still more people in that? I'm not sure, but that should be fucking fire. That should be great. just in and of itself. I have not been watching NXT the last couple of weeks, so I'm a little bit behind. But hey, we get Poppy. Woo! Are you a Poppy fan?
I have no idea.
You don't know Poppy?
I have no idea.
Wait,
Come on.
Poppy's not wrestling. Poppy's YouTube.
What is Poppy?
What the fuck? You don't know who Poppy is?
No.
You never watched a fucking weird white chick in a white room who just says, "I'm Poppy."
No.
So Poppy, okay, all right. So now Poppy's a musician, and I guess she always was a musician. But Poppy started on YouTube and as a character, where she would stand in this like infinite room, a white room, like the Matrix loading room. It would look like that. It was always a room like that, and she would repeat things. She would be I didn't know Poppy until a couple of years ago, to be fair, Fake. Remember, I think it was Birdkeeper Toby who got me into Poppy. So Birdkeeper Toby showed me all kinds of fucked up shit. Man, that was a great interview. I wish I still had that fucking interview. God damn. I had that on my Pokemon channel and I deleted it. Fuck. That was I love Birdkeeper Toby. I wish I still talked to him. I loved him. He was great. But regardless, he turned me on to the weird side of YouTube. And then there's a whole bunch of things where she got some she got some flack because apparently she wasn't supposed to be the original Poppy. There was another person who was dating the manager who would go on to later manage and date the new Pop. It's just a fucking weird thing. But now she's basically a musician. She's got some big hits, and she's been the vocal driving force behind NXT for a little while with the music. Fucking Triple H loves her, and she'll be on NXT tomorrow. She was on this week. And there's rumors she might even wrestle. So we'll see.
Oh.
Yeah. Yep. But I would, if you like a good little bit of weird, go watch some Poppy videos.
I'm starting to wonder if I have seen.
You had to have
some of this stuff. I think somebody I used to know showed me a couple of videos. To be honest, because I'm seeing her face. I definitely recognize her.
Yeah. She's it's something else. But yeah, so you want to do NXT tomorrow?
Yes, definitely. Let's do it.
Awesome. Okay, so we'll do that.
It'd probably be a lot easier as well to like encourage me to tell me what's going on and whatever when it's actually happening.
We're seeing the things. Yeah, it's a little bit easier to focus on. But after that, what do you want to do? If you want to watch a Raw, here's what I want you to do. Tell me that you want to watch a Raw. Tell me you want to watch AEW. Tell me that you want to watch an AEW.
He can't even finish it, guys. Dave.
No.
Dave,
breathe. No. Okay.
Breathe. Nixie? I don't want to watch AEW.
No, it's okay, Nixie. If you want to watch an AEW, you tell me, and we'll go into Discord and we'll watch it. We'll do a live We'll do a live reaction. We'll go into our recording room and we'll let people do exactly what we did last week. Sound good? And we'll do that for any of the. I'm down for it. You are hearing me right now. If you tell me, I'll fucking do it.
Okay, I want to look at the rosters. I want to see who's where, and then I'll give you a list of ones that I would definitely want to get to start watching.
Awesome. All right, let's bring Flan in.
Let's bring him in. You're on with Dead on Dave.
Unmute your mic, fucko. What do you want? God damn it, Flan. What do you want?
Hello.
Oh, I'm going to murder him? Flan.
Hello.
You fucking...
Oh. The
one
Joker wants
more time. One more time. Oh.
Hello.
What do you want? You fucking piece of shit. I hate him.
Joker wants to know, are we doing a watch along?
Yes. Well, I mean, we did this last week. We did it for the Jake Paul fight, or Logan Paul fight, rather.
That was fun.
That was a lot of fun. I would like, honestly, if we should do it tonight too. UFC, and it's actually a pretty big UFC.
Who's fighting tonight?
Everyone's fucking fighting tonight. Are you kidding me? I think there's 2 or 3 title fights.
Ooh.
Yeah, including Israel Adesanya. Style bender, man. He went up in weight for his last fight, and now he's coming back to defend his title. This should be pretty damn good. That's Asani versus Marvin Vettori. That should be a really, really, really good fight. Let me see what else there is. There's some good ones. We got... Oh, come on. Show me the whole fucking card. Oh, yeah. We got Davison Figueroa versus Brandon Moreno 2 for the flyweight championship. That should be fucking great. That should actually be a banger. Those two can both fucking fly. Fucking Nick Diaz. Or Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz and fucking Leon Edwards. That's going to be amazing. That's going to be amazing.
Wasn't the Diaz, wasn't that the thought that you had? You were saying, why don't we put the Diaz brothers in against the Paul brothers?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been watching a lot of Diaz stuff this week. Do you know who the Diaz brothers are?
I don't, but
I'm so excited.
I know a Diaz brothers, but it's not the ones you're talking about.
No, these are different Diaz brothers. These two got famous because of The Ultimate Fighter, the first season of The Ultimate Fighter for UFC. It was a reality show. God, we gotta fucking take you to boot camp. God. But yeah, there's a lot of good fights tonight. Ooh, Drew Dober's fighting. There's a lot of good fights. So I'm gonna watch that. Maybe R. Mm-hmm. Man, I can't afford that shit. So probably R. But we'll be in the Discord and we'll do it together like we always do. We can record it. Do you want to do that tonight?
What time Yeah, sure. What time does it start?
That's a really good question. I may have already begun. I have no idea. It wouldn't shock me if the prelims are starting soon. Let me see here. Yeah, there's prelims happening right now.
Oh, wow.
So that means the pay-per-view should start at 10, maybe? Yeah. So we got a lot of fights
10,
here. We're
10 for you. That's
4. There's been one fight.
Mm-hmm.
One fight, and then there's, okay. 13 fights total. Yep. Okay. So I don't have the breakdown for what time it actually starts, though. I guess I could just Google that, though. That would be a little bit easier. UFC 263 start time.
Fake, he never left.
Who?
Fake saying
10. It starts in 10.
Ooh.
It starts
in
at
10 minutes?
No, it starts at 10.
Oh, at 10.
All right, Philan, one more fucking chance.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm on mobile.
I don't care. What do you want?
I don't know. I just saw you were talking about wrestling, so I just wanted to hop in.
Piece of shit. All that for that? All that for that? Here's what I want you to do.
Dave.
No. Here's what I want you to do. This is what I need you to do for me, okay? All right? I need you to go outside. When we're done with this phone call, and you're going to get yourself a tree branch. I want you to get yourself a knife, and I want you to just...
Okay.
Really, shut up! You're going to get a knife. You're going to shave that knife. You're going to shave that fucking branch down with that knife. You're going to make sure it's nice and thin and smooth. Smooth. I want it smooth. Except for one part. Right in the middle of it, I want you to and I want this to be about 3 inches should probably do the job. Right in the middle of that 3 inches, I want you to just cut just a little sliver, small little sliver. It's a tiny one where it just sticks out just a little bit. And then I want you to invert it where that sliver is kind of facing in a downward fashion. And I want you to shove it right down your fucking dick hole. Have a good night.
Oh, dear.
This is what I do. See, Nixie, do you know how much I love you? This is what I'm putting myself through. For you. This is just the beginning. This is what I'm doing for you. This is what love looks like. Are you impressed? Are you happy?
I'm very impressed.
You had your opportunity to talk wrestling. Get out of my waiting to call. Put him somewhere else.
But
fucking call.
I was gonna say something. What was I gonna say? Oh, it's gone out my head now. I wanted people to come in and tell me is I want people to tell me what they think are good storylines to get into right
He had nothing. You want to try him again? He had nothing.
I don't know. He's back in the weight to go. He's persistent. I'll give him that much.
Oh, he's something. Flan?
Which storyline would you like me to get into? Just answer the question, and that's it.
Okay, get into the Roman Reigns head of the table
We
thing.
just fucking went over it, you fucking asshole! Get out! I hate him! I want him to get hit by a bus. He needs to get hit by a bus.
Thank you, Falan. I will continue
want him to get hit by a bus,
to watch
Nixie.
the Roman Reigns stuff. Oh, you know what, Dave? You had me at I will try and watch. Hey. You had me at that.
I want him to be hit by a bus. A bus full of nuns.
A bus full of nuns.
I don't know why the nuns are significant. Maybe they can make sure he goes to hell.
Oh my god. Dave,
I will punch you right. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stick my fucking fist up your vagina hole, okay, Falan? And then I'm going to use you as my own fucking talking puppet. You don't speak again until I pull your string, all right, meat puppet? Nixie, how are you?
I'm good.
How long have we gone for? We just did an hour. We got through it. Why would I end the show, TKO? Why would I do that?
Oh my god.
Why would I do that? This is what you guys wanted.
You wanted Dave to talk wrestling. I got him here. I brought him here.
And this is what they do. They want me to go crazy. They want me to hate fuck them. See, I'm trying to make this about you. I want this to be a good experience for you. And what do? They come after me. It's all right. You and me to the top.
Come on. Come, you know now, Dave, you got no patience, but Dave is boss. You have a right to that.
First off,
the Inter Circle by Pinnacle versus. Come on, Red Comic Man, I believe in you.
First off, I have amazing patience, but that was fucking ridiculous. That was ridiculous. I gave him every opportunity. Did I not? I mean, did I pull the trigger too early? I'll kill you, TK. I'll kill you.
Get into Alexa Bliss and Lily. I've seen stuff about that. That stuff seems very creepy.
It's
very
stupid.
weird.
It's dumb. So I don't understand. I guess Bray Wyatt is having a mental breakdown and can't play the Fiend anymore. Apparently, that might be the end of the Fiend. There is a chance. I couldn't believe that. There was a report that I read last week, a smaller report, that actually fucking said that might be the end of the Fiend. He might be out of the picture. We may not see the Fiend again. That might be and that's why they've gone so heavy with the Lily storyline, which seems so fucking weird to me. But apparently Bray is really going through some serious shit, which is not shocking, to be honest. But I don't know.
You think it's playing the character, or do you think it's just like real life shit?
No, he comes from kind of a weird family. He's a rotunda, and that's a wrestling family with some lineage. I mean, they go back to IRS and back into the 80s and 90s, Erwin R. Shyster. But more than that, there are the Blackjacks and stuff. There's a lot of people that family is related to and things like that. It's a lot of crazy shit. But he's struggled, but he really is one of those artists. You know what I mean? Those artists that get into their art and probably a lot of drugs as well. And I don't know. He had a failed marriage. He started fucking a WWE ring announcer, got her pregnant. Now she's gone. No one sees her no more. What happened to JoJo? He turned into a fucking baby making machine. I don't know what's going on. It's just I have no idea. It's a very weird situation. So they've gone very hard with the Lily thing. I haven't checked it out too much. I liked it the first couple of weeks. I think they're going towards Shayna Baszler, which feels like a really weird direction to go.
I saw something on that. Didn't she have like a a meltdown thing, and now the doll's talking to her because she stood on the doll, and I mean, I
didn't
some
see that
stuff.
part. I didn't see that.
I saw some stuff. I'm just very surprised that this is one thing that Fake hates it, and Carl loves it.
Yeah, well, that's
Carl.
That's not a big shock. Carl has some of the weirdest wrestling opinions I've ever seen. I mean, like, he hates indiscriminately for no reason. It's so fucking weird.
But then something that everyone else seems to the general consensus is it's weird and it's stupid, and Carl loves it. See, this is what I wanted to know. When you always say about a movie being good, and then Carl says no, it's shit. And I'm like, okay, Carl, tell me what is a good movie in your opinion.
He can't tell you what's wrong with my movies. He can't tell you what's wrong with any of my movies. He never can. In fact, he laughs at most of my movies. I think he just likes being shitty. That's okay.
But this with the wrestling, it shows something about him, because he hates a lot of stuff, but he likes the Lily shit, and everyone's like, the Lily shit's shit.
It's very consistent, and he's trolling. That's possible too.
Or maybe he just likes Alexa Bliss.
He does like Alexa Bliss, but I don't blame him for that.
There we go.
There's a lot of people that we can go through and just show you where they started to where they are. That could be a great show concept. And why is Philan still waiting to call? Why is he still there?
He says, "Let's talk off the show if you'd like. I'm here, Dave."
What the fuck could I possibly have to say to you off the fucking show? What do you want?
I don't know, just talk some wrestling a bit.
What the fuck have I been doing for the last hour?
Dude, I couldn't catch the beginning of the stream.
Oh, you want me to do a show just specifically for you?
No, but like, I don't know, maybe I could contribute to the show a little bit.
Talk about fucking opportunities to contribute to the show. You've given nothing.
It's the stupid mobile Discord thing.
Then why are you here? Exactly.
You know,
shut up. Thank you. Great comment, man. Yeah, we got the rips. We got the beer. I got beer chugs tonight, too. We're going to be on Twitch. Actually, we'll be in the Discord right after this, because we're going to watch some prelims. We're going to talk some other stuff. Maybe we'll go through some videos. We'll do some wrestling shit that maybe Nixie needs to see. Maybe we'll show her some of the things that we talked about on tonight's show. But I think there's a great concept in going through people where they started to where they are.
I
like
just
Alexa
had a cool
Bliss.
idea, too.
What?
But I kind of have to ask you about it first, I guess.
You can ask me about it right now.
Well, I'm thinking, should we make a channel in the Discord that is purely for people to put wrestling links in, like for YouTube clips and stuff that they want me to see. So if there's a specific clip you want me to see, put it in the wrestling channel. We'll call it like the
Nixie's
ring,
wrestling shit. Okay, that works too.
Yeah.
Put it in the ring. Put it in the ring. I like that better. Oh, wait. Here we go. Carl G. No, I don't. The only things I've liked that you have shown us are Chappelle Show and Mike Tyson Mysteries. But you finished the ladder without me. You left! Don't do that! You left! That's on you. You're goddamn right I finished it without you, but I will watch it with you. You're goddamn right. You left. No. You want to know? I'll rewatch the whole fucking series. You stop being salty. I'm going to fucking murder you. Get on a plane, asshole. I'm going to fuck you up. Get on a fucking plane. I'm going to fuck that man up. I swear to God.
Red Comet Man is committing blasphemy. He says, I do got some AEW, she might like.
You know what? I'm not going to object. Here's what I want him to show you this. Because you are a sensible person. And the only thing that this could backfire on is you just have no point of reference. So maybe this meta stuff will appeal to you, and maybe I don't know. You don't know what to look for. You have no point of reference to know what's bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so when you see a spot, you messaged me for Chappelle Show. Yeah, but that's you weren't talking to me this time. That was different. You left. That's different. I messaged you for Chappelle Show. We were talking. You weren't talking to me. I'm sorry, but you knew it. Like, you didn't see us in there. Don't just stop it. Just come in next time. Stop it. No sensual way. Stop it. You're a fucking royalty here. Stop it. And
you're part of the
stop
Ask
railing my
Trinity.
show. What?
The Ask Trinity.
You are
The
part of
Holy
the
Ask
Ask Trinity. Yeah, what the fuck?
The only enjoyable AEW is featured on Botchamania.
Yeah,
I would
look,
assume that that's a show about flops.
so AEW, you know, there could have been something here. There really could have. Had AEW not been about spite and being bitter, they could have really done. You can't just create a new roster, create a new show, create a new brand, and then immediately go to cable TV and expect immediate success. You can't do that anytime, but you really can't do it in one of the whatchamacallit, and oh man, fucking Carl, I read another one of his things. Son of a bitch.
You got distracted.
What was I saying?
You said that AEW hadn't been made out of
That's
spite,
right.
and it couldn't
Right.
come to cable. And,
Right.
Yeah.
You really can't do it in this era where the ratings are going down. But what they could have done very easily, they could have just toured the country and just did live shows and put them on YouTube. You know, you could have kept your costs low. You could have garnered so much attention. It could have been great. It really could have been something different and new. But instead, they went to TBS and TNT. They went exactly where WCW went. They brought in all the ECW people that they could fucking bring in. You know, it was just brought in by guys that either WWE didn't want or felt that they were used poorly or didn't get their way. Chris Jericho is probably the best example of Chris Jericho. I don't know what his official story is on how he got involved with AEW, but here's what it looks like. Chris Jericho came back to WWE and he was doing a lot of stuff and he was kicking ass again and people were very happy with a lot of things that he was doing. He was getting a lot of creative control. Chris then thought he was probably getting so in with Vince that he could ask for anything. So he went and asked for the one thing that Vince had already tried and fucking failed at, a wrestling cruise. What Chris Jericho wanted was to do the Cruise of Jericho or whatever and have NXT perform on the ship. Pretty cool idea. Vince said, fuck no. Vince said, fuck no.
Yeah.
Because in the 90s, he tried something called the Wrestle Vessel. And everybody got fucking sued. Everybody got sued.
Oh my
Wrestle
God.
Vessel is one of the biggest blunders in fucking his. It's how someone didn't get murdered on the Wrestle Vessel is still a mystery to me. The Wrestle Vessel.
What a fucking name.
So, of course, Vince was never going to allow that to happen again. But to Jericho's credit, he did go through with the cruise, and it was a success. And he's going to do another one, apparently. But he went ahead and brought in a lot of the independent guys, a lot of the who would later on become the AEW guys. And it became very, very clear that he was about to make a big jump. He went over to New Japan. He got involved with the whole AEW thing. It was just, everything's bitter, everything's spite. And they rushed it to TV so fast they can't possibly succeed.
So this is one of the things though. Like last week, you told me that characters are specific to the show that they're part of. So when you're someone who's big known like Chris Jericho, like everyone, that's a name that I know. That is a name that I recognize. So if he moved to AEW, doesn't that mean he has to give up that character and become someone else?
So there are few exceptions, and those exceptions happen to be when the person uses their actual name. Chris Jericho is not his actual name, but I do believe it is now his legal name. I think he changed that at one point, or whatever Chris Jericho is, he owns. He owns. WWE, he was Chris Jericho before he came to WWE. WWE created the Y2J character. Now,
Right.
I don't know if he still uses Y2J in AEW. I don't know if he refers to himself as it. I'm not sure if he has the rights to it. I don't know. But that Y2J was created in WWE. I think it was the first time you used it was the Millennium. And in fact, that's what we're gonna watch the second we get out of here. We're gonna watch Chris Jericho's debut on WWE television because I think you're gonna absolutely love it. And I'm not even gonna tell you who he debuts with, but it's one of the greatest debuts and one of the greatest rebuttals in history of wrestling. We're gonna watch that. But there's so much. You can see how this show could really just go off the rails, and we could talk for fucking hours. Hours. So.
Oh, yeah.
But AEW sucks, but I'll support you, Nixie. If you want to watch it, I'll support you. It's a really hard product to watch. It's a really, really,
I will
really
watch
hard product
whatever
to watch.
anyone puts in the clip show, but the ones that I'm going to focus on are the ones that have rosters that I actually recognize names from.
Okay, so basically you're going to watch WWE.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. All right. Is there anything that you want to end the show with? Any questions? Any thoughts? Did you get anything out of this? Was this too chaotic? Was this fun? Are you enjoying the conversation?
I am enjoying it.
Are you?
Definitely. I really am. Because this is what I wanted to know. I wanted to know like where to start because it's so overwhelming. There's like a billion shows, and like you said, there's like a show for every night.
Right.
I can't put that much time
really
in.
can't.
Jesus Christ, I'm not a fucking machine.
No,
but
no one can do that.
I want to know where to go, what's the best storyline to get into, and like even if I do a couple of them, I don't have to do just one. I could do a couple of them.
Right.
But
the easiest way is to watch shows. It really is. It's the easiest
see what I
way.
like.
Or, you know what, now with all the YouTube, you can go to WWE's channel, and they got highlights for everything and individualized matches. You got the Peacock. You got the WWE Network. There's plenty of ways to watch. So, you got options. In the future, I do want to do more structured as far as stories and stuff, but there wasn't a lot of wrestling news this week. There was stuff with Tony Khan that I found somewhat interesting because I really, really, really am starting to hate Tony fucking Khan. I mean, like, he's trying to get into a war of words with Triple H and all this fucking shit, man. And he's like, Triple H says a lot of things about the NXT product and all that, and Khan will for no reason start talking about it. And when he does, he'll say things like he's wrong, or he'll try to make a point about how his wrestler, but he won't exactly say it because he's really passive aggressive. And then he always tries to be extra nice on top of it. Well, of course, you're going to say that about your women, but here's the difference why Triple H can say whatever the fuck he wants, and Nick Khan can't say, or Tony Khan cannot say anything he wants. Because one is fucking Triple H, arguably a top 5 greatest performer in the history of the business, definitely a top 5 fucking promo in this business, and he's great in every fucking capacity when it comes to wrestling. He is a student of the game. In fact, I am the fucking game, JR. Khan is a fucking billionaire's son who weighs 79 pounds, soaking fucking wet, completely in the same vein, cashing checks that aren't really his, as Eric Bischoff. But here's the thing. He's not even Eric fucking Bischoff, because Eric Bischoff was actually fucking cool. Nick Khan, or Tony Khan, is just a fucking loser. He is a wannabe fucking smart, tough guy walking with the boys. And it makes me fucking sick. And that's what I'm ending the show on. Disgust. Yeah. Yeah. That's really all I'd say. Mickey James and NWA. And?
Oh, okay. So yeah, he kind of looks like Justin Long.
Yeah.
Like
he looks like Justin.
Brother.
No, he looks like Justin Long's gay stunt double.
Okay.
He just to take the ass. Fuck. Right in the ass.
Yeah, there's not a lot of meat in them bones.
No. Mickie James in NWA. I can't really bring myself to care. I'm going to say something that I don't think people are going to like. Mickie James isn't that good. Mickie James is overrated as fuck. Overrated as fuck. I've gone back and I've watched a lot of her matches. She's not a very good worker. She's very, very sloppy.
Oh, it's a lady.
Sloppy.
Okay.
Yeah, Mickie James, very sloppy. And I go back and I'm watching more and more of her stuff, and I'm getting it less and less. And then the older she's gotten, now she just refers to herself as a fucking legend. What was she legendary for? Being the stalker of fucking Trish Stratus and then lucking into a job when all the other fucking women were transitioning to another fucking career? No, bitch. Sorry. You got to do a little bit more than that. I'm just not a big fan of Mickie James at the end of the day. I've had my moments where I do love Mickie, but man, when she starts fucking going the holier than thou route, I just can't get there with her. But hey, I'm glad that she's trying to do something in the women's wrestling world over there in NWA. I'm glad that she feels so strongly about still having a women's evolution or a women's revolution or all women's pay-per-views. But I'll tell you what, and this is what I truly want to leave this on. Triple H, the other day, and I hope I can find it, has one of the best clapbacks to that whole women's only wrestling and all that I've ever heard. He said this the other day, and I'm gonna paraphrase. I'm not gonna go verbatim because I can't remember exactly what he said. But what he said was he was asked about doing another all women's pay-per-view and focusing on, or doing an all women's show and all that. He goes, "We've done that. We've done that, and it was amazing, and it was fantastic. Why do we have to keep doing the things that we do? This is supposed to be about equality, right? Well, what's equal about a women's only show? Well, let me ask you this. If I decided next week that we were going to do only men's wrestling on a show and no women were allowed on it, how do you think that would fly?" I'm like, game, set, match, motherfucker. Because he's 100% right. These fucking displays of trying to be special is getting to the point where it's defeating the point. The point of doing it was to show that it hasn't been done and that we're at a point where we can highlight these women because the talent are there and they deserve to fucking be there. But if we continue to do it and baby them and coddle them and keep them away from the equalization in wrestling where everyone's on the same show all the time, or give the men where they only get their own show and women aren't allowed on, and then let's just everybody have that, because that's equal. If there's one women's wrestling show, then there needs to be at least one men's wrestling show.
But if you truly, truly believe and want equality, you have to go half and half.
Exactly.
You can't have one way or the other.
So I was about to ask you, as a woman, how do you feel about what I just told you Triple H said?
Do you know what?
And the whole women's wrestling, women's revolution, or whatever you want to call it. How do you feel about that? As someone new to the industry, but also a woman herself.
You know what? I went on a walk the other day and I streamed it, and I was talking about, towards the end of it, I was talking about how I really wish that I had got into wrestling when I was younger, because for me personally, as a woman who's a little bit on the bulkier side in the muscly department, like, I really, really could have used seeing more women role models who were like, you know, bulky and beautiful. So
you would love Beth Phoenix.
Yeah, you know, anyone who could have made me feel like I wasn't so much of this fucking freak of nature because I had muscular frame.
You needed a term, and that term was glamazon. That's the. I'm serious. You you were at the age that if you would have watched wrestling, you would have ran into Beth Phoenix in her prime, and she was the glamazon, and she's very, very similar body type to you, especially very similar body type.
But what I'm trying to round back off to saying is that I feel like that's on me that I didn't get into it more and I didn't see the women that were there. Yeah. Because if anything, I think wrestling is probably one of the only sports that has had more equality in it than others.
Yeah. Because
it's always been mixed. There was, I mean, okay, like, you know, the storylines, they tend to put women against women, men against men and everything, but, you know,
we don't need
there
intergender
are safety
wrestling.
reasons.
Well, yeah, and there's logic reasons. There's just like you're trying to make sure that we don't blur the line too much. I don't even like what Rey Mysterio is in there with a fucking 7-footer. I don't believe it.
So for the safety purposes, there has to be some form of a divide, because you can't put a small, slender woman in with a giant, muscly man.
Careful.
Slender.
You're about to be canceled. Careful. There's a lot. Yeah. Women's wrestlers, especially nowadays, if they heard you say that, they would have fucking lambasted you. And there's a lot of them that would. Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa, Mickey James.
I mean, I'm
fucking,
one of the people.
what's her name? Johnny Gargano's wife. These are all women. Evilise, a lot of these women nowadays, they all cut their teeth in intergender wrestling. It's a very big thing on the independents, and they put women through tables, they pile drive women, and these women are still walking around perfectly fucking fine. So they're they're gonna disagree with you on that. I don't personally. But I disagree. I agree with you.
I want to say something
reasons.
on that though.
Yeah.
I want to say something on that though. When I trained for kickboxing, I'd spar with men, and I refused to be women only.
Yeah.
When I fought, there was only one other girl in my training spar, and I love her to bits, and she's actually now a streamer now. She's a lovely girl. She did not like to fight me because I fought hard. I was quite tough. I was seen as muscly and tough. I fought men, and I was on the boys football team growing up. I was one of those girls that was very, very tomboyish, and I fought with the boys. I have always advocated that women can work with men, and they can. It has been drilled into me as I've got older and older that there is a reason, like, oh no, women shouldn't do this because of that. Women shouldn't do this because of that. So that was the limits that I faced growing up. I was always the kid that did push through. I did end up on the boys football team. I did end up fighting men in sparring.
I get that, and to that, and it's fantastic, and I love that story. You know I do. But you do know you're the exception, not the rule, though. We can't ever expect any woman to walk onto any men's playing field and not get hurt. That's crazy.
This is why what I'm saying is, it's not. Yeah, you're right. You're completely right.
There's guys that are too small to get on fields. You know, they're gonna get hurt.
God, yeah. There are some very, very small framed men out there. I've looked at them and gone, do you know what? I could blow him over with my breath. Yeah. Like it's not.
Tony Khan. Tony Khan.
It's not being. Yeah, goddamn.
You could fucking eat Tony Khan.
I could, but there are we have to accept that there are limitations, because the general consensus is that women are smaller and less muscly, and men tend to be bigger with more muscle, more body weight, etc., etc. Right. But that doesn't mean that we should stop the people who are exceptional. So
no,
women who are strong.
And the exceptional always break through. We've had women who have been able to we've had women kickers in college sports now. It looks like we're going to end up getting a woman kicker in the NFL. Why did it take so long? Because it's fucking hard. It's hard. Yeah. It's fucking hard. You know how an exceptional woman there has to be? Look, Dave Chappelle, he's the god. He said this way better than I ever fucking can. If there's a reason why there's a WNBA. There's a reason why there's there. Could a few women play in the NBA? Maybe. Maybe Candace Parker could have done it. Maybe Diane Taurasi as a shooter could have done it. Maybe. But that's a big fucking maybe. And I'm not trying to be, dismissive or anything. Basketball in specific, where height is the most important factor almost over everything, we can't even begin to compare. So, as Dave Chappelle said, either you would be good enough to be in the same league, or you could try to shut the fuck up. And I think that's kind of like, we don't have to accept anything. We're like, this whole idea that these limitations and all these things have to be fucking accepted by everyone. No, we just need to go back to ignoring them and just go playing within the same fucking rules that make sense. You know, common sense dictates if I'm 72 pounds, maybe I shouldn't step on a fucking football field or try to wrestle a 215-pound guy. And if I do, maybe I shouldn't try to play victim after that happens.
Oh God, yeah, I can't imagine for 1 second, because I was,
You
when
wouldn't
I
have
was
cried.
I was on the boys football team, right?
I bet you got
And
fucked up a couple times.
Oh God, yeah. There were times when like they would boot the ball and it would literally hit me straight in the face, like
Did you
from
quit?
point blank range. God no.
No, you
But
didn't.
but the only reason they let me be on these teams is because they knew I wasn't going to get up and cry.
You're special.
They knew that because they could see that true equality comes from knowing a limit. You have to be able to say, okay, I want to play with the boys, but you don't just say it because you think, oh, I should be allowed to play with the boys. You do it because you know you can
or you
play
just
with
know,
the boys.
or just that you want to. That's totally okay to just want to do something and try it. If a girl wants to step onto a fucking field and try something because she feels that she can, let her go break her foot. I'm okay with this. Totally okay with it. I want to balance it a little bit because I actually have a personal story that kind of goes in the male version of this. I was the guy who did home ec. I was one of 2 guys that were, and I did it for almost 2 full years. I did 3 semesters of it. And I was only 1 or 2 guys in there. I took a lot of shit for it, but I wanted to do it, and I did do it. I got a fucking A in that class. I was great. I was a better fucking chick than the chicks. It's amazing. That was the joke. That was the joke that I said. I was that comfortable where I made that joke in that class the first time I got the best grade out of the test. I said, I'm a better chick than all you chicks. And there was a lot of laughs, and everyone had a good time. And it wasn't a big deal. It just was a thing. I had chicks in metal shop with me, in auto shop. You know, it doesn't need to be a thing. It could just be.
No.
But the second a girl gets told, or a guy gets told, or anybody gets told that they can't, and they have a ambitious enough parent, boom, we have a movement. We have a movement. As soon as that ambition hits, the Jenny McCarthys of the world, as I like to call them, as soon as they get that reality that maybe their kid who came from them isn't perfect, it must be someone else's fault. I will make the world burn. And that's where we are.
Yeah, but this is what I was trying to say in a nice way with the wrestling is I do feel that wrestling is one of those areas where there has always been an equality.
There has.
Because women were always allowed to fight, and they were. Do you know what I love about wrestling?
There's been sexism.
But these women were beautiful women, and they were pushed, and they were told, you know, you can be strong and beautiful. Like, you don't get that as a kid who feels ugly and bulky and horrible, has a weird frame, grows up with square teeth, looking very masculine. Do you know what? I got told I couldn't even use the girls' bathroom.
I
wasn't allowed to use the girls' bathroom at school because I literally got shouted out of it.
I'm trying to stop you a little bit this entire time because
I
do got to remind you of something here, because this is where you don't know wrestling very well. I'm agreeing with you that women have always been around, but they haven't always been treated right. For a very long time, women were only there for sex objects. I mean, like the brawn panties matches, fucking swimsuit competitions, body paint, the whole shebang-a-bang. No physical fucking nature to it. Most of these women couldn't fucking wrestle a lick. They were wearing thongs. It was bad, Nixie. It was like, even as a guy who was jerking off to it, I'm like, this is kind of fucked up. It is kind of fucked up. Like, Trish Stratus is on the floor barking like a fucking dog with her fucking cleavage coming out. I mean, like, there's so much fucked up shit that women have been subjected to in wrestling. And I'm just using the WWE examples. They're New Japan Pro Wrestling ass muffin. That's all I'm going to say. And that's happening now. There is still a lot of it out there. It's just what you feel about it. If you feel that this is a little extra and out of pocket, maybe doesn't really need to be out there anymore, or maybe if this is just kind of the way it is, women are beautiful, women are sexy, and it's okay to just celebrate it. Ring girls are ring girls. What's the big deal? I don't know where you fall on that.
Do you know what? Like, if the woman who's doing it is down with it, she can do whatever the fuck she wants. If she wants to put her titties on show, if she wants to put her ass on show, fucking let her. Let women be empowered in that. But just remember that with the sexism and the equality movement that's coming in and the progression that the world is going in, if women aren't allowed to be like treated in certain ways, like which they shouldn't. Like they shouldn't be just seen as sex object. They obviously they deserve to be having storylines and actually taken seriously in a sport and everything. But remember, you just said that like only like what an hour ago, that Roman Reigns used to get sexually assaulted on his way to the ring by women.
Good point.
If it's not okay for guys to do that to women, it's not okay for women to do that to men either.
That's my co-host, huh? That's my motherfucking co-host right there, huh? Making all kinds of sense. Yeah.
That's something that has to be like, if we're gonna move forward with this equality movement, it has to be seen from both angles. And do you know what? If Roman Reigns likes to get fucking women coming all over him, then he's entitled to do that too. Like, what the fuck? If it's, as long as the person themselves is happy with the situation, then fuck the rest. Fuck what anyone else thinks, because it's
God, are you sure you're living in 2021? Jesus Christ. Have you not looked outside? What is it everyone's business? This is the most nosy fucking society we've ever had. Good
I know,
God.
But I don't necessarily agree with it.
No, I don't agree with it. I hate it. It's fucking awful. No one can fucking fart anymore. But
if the person themselves is happy, then fuck what anyone else thinks. If a woman wants to get her tits out, let her get her tits out. If a man wants to get his fucking six-pack out, let him get his fucking
you gotta remember. You do gotta remember something too. It's always difficult with that when you're talking about a publicly traded company. WWE has to suck the dick of a lot of fucking groups out there. Make sure that they keep on making, because they're not AEW. They're not a wrestling. That's the reality. That, you know what? That is something that really needs to be stated more often. WWE is not a wrestling fucking federation anymore. They are not the World Wrestling Federation anymore. They are World Wrestling Entertainment. They are an entertainment company. That is what they are. Whatever that means, whatever, a laugh, a smile, a cry, a fucking moment of suspense, of levity, that is what they do. Wrestling just happens to be a medium of which they paint on, but it is no fucking means what they do. They produce top tier fucking content on a movie production level budget and execution. Their wrestling packages now, and they have been for the past 25 years, are works of fucking cinematic art. They're great. They're amazing. So I'm going to give you an example of that as well. So you guys remind me, and someone create that channel where we're going to drop all kinds of stuff that you want Nixie to watch. We're going to go into the Discord right now. We're going to start watching the prelims for UFC. We're going to figure out a way to watch UFC. If you want to support that, you can go ahead and support that as well. We'll do beer chugs and all that type of stuff while we're still in the Discord. And we're gonna watch Chris Jericho's debut to WWE. And then I'm going to show you what I think is one of the best produced promo packages of all time, which happens to be one of my favorite matches of all time. And Fake isn't far off. He's got half of the people that are in there with Shawn Michaels. But we'll get to that in a moment in Discord. Thank you guys so much for being here. I know the show is just an absolute mess, but it's my type of mess, and I think it's your type of mess. I think this is I'm pumped the fuck up. I am enjoying talking about wrestling in this structure. I hope you are too, Nixie.
Oh God, yeah, I am enjoying it.
And we said a couple of really good things there too, I think.
Yeah, I mean it's chaotic, but it's good. It's good. I love it.
It is. All right, so let's get our asses over to Discord. Nixie, tell them where they can find you.
You can find me, Nixie Nax. I am on Twitch. I am on Twitter. I am on Instagram. I am bloody everywhere. Just type Nixie Nax. That's it.
Make sure you get her some bandages because she's bloody. Everywhere.
Yay.
Everywhere. I still don't have an outro, so get ready for the fastest cutaway of all time when we get out of here. Thank you guys so much for being here. Keep it copious, folks. Remember, as always, if you don't have talent, have talented friends. Make sure you're checking out everything at Trash or Treasure. Go buy stuff from me. I got amazing